More classified documents have been found, this time at the home of former Republican Vice President Mike Pence. CNN reporting a lawyer for Mike Pence discovered about a dozen documents marked as classified at Pence's new home in Indiana last week. Mike Pence asking a lawyer to conduct the search in the wake of discoveries that were found at President Joe Biden's home and office, dating back to when he was vice president under Barack Obama. The FBI, the Justice Department have launched a review of the documents and how they ended up in Pence's home. All right, let's bring in Steve Farnsworth, a U.S. political commentator, University of Mary, Washington. Steve, good to see you again. The implications here for Mike Pence.
Well, all indications are that there's no real criminal risk here. These documents were discovered in part because of the other documents discovered by other political figures, including Joe Biden. And so the expectation here is that this is sort of a no muss, no fuss situation. The documents will be returned. There's not evidence that there was any deliberate effort to conceal or delay the release of this information back to the National Archives. It seems to be the sort of mistake that happens when people are packing up at the last minute. And certainly in the United States, we're seeing a lot of problems with people packing up at the last minute and these classified documents these days.
Does this take any of the heat off President Biden?
Well, I think it does, because it makes it very difficult for Republicans to talk about Biden in the context of claiming that he committed some sort of misconduct, when this story looks almost exactly like the story that you're seeing with Mike Pence. Now, Mike Pence is hoping to run for president in 2024, and so Republicans are not perhaps likely to choose Mike Pence in the contest. But what's clear is that the Republicans are really not going to be trying to undermine Mike Pence right now. So you're looking at a situation where I think that Mike Pence has this discovery has really helped Joe Biden.
I know it also gets a bit confusing because, Mike Pence has said, I wasn't aware they were there. I know Joe Biden has said that, too. In the case of Biden, it goes back many years, back to when he was a vice president. But the notion of what is classified as classified, so to speak, and how broad that can actually be, Steve, we don't actually know what these documents contain.
That's right, in part because they're classified. One of the things we do know, though, about the nature of classification in the government in the United States, at least, is that there tends to be a temptation towards overclassification. And in addition, once something is classified, it sort of stays classified. And so there may be material that, whether we're talking about Pence's documents or whether we're talking about Joe Biden's documents, that may not have a significant issue with respect to their sort of relevance to today's need to keep something secret. The issue, though, is very different for Donald Trump, because the problem that Trump faces is a much more legal one, because he refused requests to turn over documents, refused requests to provide access to his storage units and records so that the federal government could determine whether there are any classified documents that were found there. So the situation with Trump was much more a story of defiance and refusal to turn over documents, whereas the story, as best we know it from Biden and from Pence, is these documents were discovered. Here they go back in the hands of the government.
Thanks for this, Steve. Good to see you again.
Thanks, Todd.
Steve Farnsworth in Washington.